So for those of you who don't know, Steve was in the pub in London when back then it would be in Telecom Plus. He was in the pub when it all started. And, you know, so he had the vision, because when you're sitting in a pub and there's no company and there's no nothing, and somebody's telling you that, you look, this, you know, this might build royalty income, that takes belief, it takes guts, and it takes what Wes Linden says, it takes the ability to hold on to the rope, looking long term. So we're all also part of Steve's business. So he's been a great support and mentor to me personally. I've made so many mistakes in this business, and anytime I get it wrong, I tend to phone Steve first. Because I think you'll also admit he's made mistakes as well, as we all make mistakes in this business. So I wanted him to come on, really just to, just back up, where we are today as a company in the marketplace and the opportunity. Because I still think there are so many partners in our team who actually don't realise what they're sitting in their lap right now, with the energy crisis, the cost of living crisis, the squeeze on bills, everything. So I don't know how long we've got Steve for, but what I'd like to do is maybe just pass over to Steve. Nothing here is planned. So I'll pass over to Steve. He'll give us his thoughts on where we are. And then as he's talking, if you can think of any questions, it's very, you're not going to get many opportunities to speak to the company's #1 earner. And I'm sure he'd love to hear any questions that you guys have got. So while he's having a wee chat, if you can think of anything you want to know, I'll do some questions at the end, if that's all right, Steve.
Good stuff.
Cool. Listen, I'll just pass things over to you.
Thank you, Del. Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. Nice to be here. Thanks for the invite. I'll just pick up on the back of what Derek was saying there about where we are right now with everybody, Everybody Saves. And I just quote you my personal experience, because my last fix came to an end in beginning of October, and we were paying £265 a month for our electricity bill down here in Surrey. My wife insists on having the heating at 21 degrees, 365 days of the year, no matter what. So we're paying £265. And if I just let it flip over to the variable, then it would have gone to 335. But knowing what's coming in April, I ended up fixing it at 420. And that is with UW. So with my contacts in the marketplace and what's happening out there, they are expecting a massive hike in April, a massive hike. So that's my personal experience with what's happening with the energy market. But let me just give you a little bit of a story about how we come to be in this place. Because as Dale said, I just want to correct Dale a little bit, because it sounded like I was living in the pub. I was a bit of an alkie, but the pub was actually not a pub. It was just an old pub. The story goes like this. I heard about the company in 1996. And I got involved and joined in 1997, and we raised £1 million on what was back then the OFEX market. We raised that money and we got started. And in October that year, October 97, the people that ran it at the time were not very good at running a company, and they were going bust. So I wasn't in a very happy position. I spent a lot of time part-time building the business, only to potentially face it going under. And Charles Wiggoner came along in February 98 and he bought it. He paid £2 million for the company, and he put £2 million of his own money into cash flow the business, so £4 million. Now, that's not a bad investment when you consider today's stock market valuation is £1 billion. So Charles got involved, went about building the company, and the rest is history, as they say. But in about 2005, we had an energy director who we'd employed, and his job was to hedge the buying of energy. But we didn't know at the time he was a secret functioning alcoholic, and he didn't hedge. And we were losing £4 to £5 million a month, and we were going bust. Excuse me. And had Charles not gone and had the clever idea of sitting down with N-Power, which has recently been bought by E.ON, and we did a deal with N-Power. And we had two companies then. We had Gas Plus Limited and Electricity Plus Limited. And what we did was we let Empower buy those companies for £1 each. And there was about 150,000 customers in each. And the payoff for us was that we could get those customers back at a time in the future, but they would cover all our debts, and they would let us run the call centre and the boys and girls in the energy centre and pay all the expenses, plus give us a small profit. So Charles took the view, better to be safe than sorry. Let's make a very small margin and not run the risk. And that's where we've been for 15 odd years. We've made very small margin on our energy, enough to pay all the staff, enough to make a small profit. And now the tide has turned. Now it's like an insurance policy we've been paying. Now it's paying out to us because the market's turned massively in terms of the price of gas. So just to put your mind at ease, we have a contract right now. Empower got bought out by E.ON, and we have a contract with E.ON that lasts until 2033. So they will be supplying our energy until 2033, which is 11 years. So you haven't got to worry about anything. And part of that contract says at any point, we are, as a company, able to negotiate with another supplier should E.ON not be wanting to continue to supply us. But they like supplying us because they've had a relationship with us for years now. So that's a little bit about where we find ourselves today. But it's a really, really, really exciting place to be, because I want to focus on building the team, because some of you on this call, you're brilliant at getting customers, and I love that, and that's fantastic, and we love you to bits, and that's great. But the real juice is in building a team. And I want to challenge everybody on the call today with the following strategy. Why wouldn't you talk to every customer about becoming a partner? They've seen what you do. They've seen how easy it is. You've talked them through the process on Zoom or your face-to-face, whatever the case may be. Most of you, at the point of getting a double gold customer, run out the door or can't wait to get off of the Zoom call because you think their wife or husband is going to walk through the door and cancel everything and say, what the hell are you doing? I was taught many, many years ago that the best time to allow someone the opportunity to buy something else is when they've just bought. Oh, where you gone? It's when they've just bought. And Dale will be familiar with this, with his car sales background. You know, at the time someone says, yes, I'll buy that car, a good salesman then will add on all the extras. Do you want the shiny wheels? Do you want the leather upholstery? Do you want the improved sat-nav? Whatever, whatever, whatever. We're no different. At the time they bought our services, that's the time to introduce them to the opportunity. So it might go like this. I might be talking to, let's say I'm talking to Craig there, who's in the middle of my screen. And I might be saying to Craig, you know, welcome to the family. You're going to love the savings. You're going to love the single bill. But Craig, just before I go, ethically and morally obliged, just to let you know that I'm going to make some really nice commission out of all the services you're taking. Are you happy for me to keep that, or might you and your family like it? And you get one or two answers. What's that all about then? Or no thanks. And if you get no thanks, leave it. But 8 out of 10 normally say, well, what's that all about then? And then all you say is, look, I don't want to overstay my welcome. You know, if you've got time now, I'll go through it with you. If not, we'll make another appointment. Right? Now, what is so hard about that? Nothing, except people have got this inbuilt worry that as soon as they've got a double gold customer or any customer, that it's going to cancel. So they want to get off the call. They want to get away from the appointment. They want to make sure they keep the sale. Someone once showed me this opportunity back in 1996. Do you think I love them or hate them? Okay, so what I want to encourage you all to do is make sure that when you're with a customer, make sure they know there is a business opportunity. Make sure there's an opportunity. They know there's an opportunity to, you know, to substantially reduce their own energy bills by just coming on board with us and introducing it to a few friends and family. And I might say something like this, you know, let's say I'm talking to Angela. I might turn around to Angela and say, Angela, you know, and part of my pitch when I'm sitting with a customer is I do tell the customer that we're an unusual company. So when I'm with the customer, I would say, look, we're a really unusual company, Angela. Not only are we 25 years old and we've been on the FTSE 250 for over 20 years, but we also only want happy, smiley customers. And on that basis, because we only want happy, smiley customers, Angela, Okay. If I can't save you and your family any money and make you feel good about our company, we don't want you as a customer. Is that okay? Can we proceed on that basis, Angela? Now, the psychology behind that, guys, is that I've given her a way out. Her brain's gone, I'm not going to be browbeaten. I'm not going to be pushed. I'm not going to be railroaded into having to sign something, because Steve has said, if he can't save me any money, he actually doesn't want me to be a customer. Now, what a great position to be in when we've got everybody saved, because we absolutely know beyond a shadow of a doubt that we can save everybody some money. Okay, so Angela, not only are we a FTSE 250 company, and we've been around 25 years, but we only want happy, smiley customers. So let me tell you something, Angela, if I can't save you and your family some money and make you feel good about my company, okay, we actually don't want you to join. Can we proceed on that basis? Is that okay, Angela? And I'll do this over Zoom, I'll do this one-on-one, or I'll do this, I'm doing a group. Because what have they experienced in the past from every single salesperson they've come across? The guy or woman is after the deal. He's after the close. He knows he's going to chase that person down. He's going to sell them the car, the kitchen, the bathroom, the accessories, the clothes, whatever it is. And yet, if I can't save you and your family some money, Angela, we actually don't want you to be a customer. Look at how that sits. It's so soft. It's so nice. You can physically watch people's shoulders drop because they feel they're not going to be closed. Okay, and I might say something like this, Angela. You know, Angela, you've seen what I've done. All I've done is just walked you through a presentation over Zoom. It's pretty easy, okay? And you've seen what I've done. So you've actually watched what I'm asking you to do down the road. All you've got to do is sit on my shoulder as Polly Parrot and just watch I do with the first 6 or 10 referral customers or friends and family or colleagues that you know that we go and see together. Because I'm going to support you and I'm going to help you, Angela. Okay. Now, Angela, if we got 100% success rate of, say, six customers, you know, we're probably going to put 6 customers, could put best part of £1,000 in your bank next month. But let's be realistic. We might not get them all. Let's say we only got half. If I put £500 in your bank next month, Angela, what would you spend it on? Now you've got your customer, potential new partner, thinking ahead what they'd spend the money on. Oh, I'll pay off the Visa card. Oh, I'll be able to get the Christmas presents for the grandchildren. Whatever it is. But you've got them thinking ahead. Okay. Now, and this is really my closing line, and I love this line. It's just like, Angela, I know this is a silly question, but on the basis it's only a tenner to join, you'd want to give it a go, wouldn't you? Now look at the language, look at the psychology. I know this is a silly question. So you've now implanted the psychology of they're thinking, well, how silly is it going to be? So then you just back it up with, look, it's only a tenner. Only a tenner. Okay. But you do want to give it a go, don't you? Now, I always use those words, you do want to give it a go, don't you? Because it's what we call a double negative. Okay. You do want to give it a go. Question, don't you? Statement. And 9 times out of 10, people go, yeah. So you sign them up for a tenner. Now you've got and you know you've got matching, but you've got matching bonus because you know they've now become a partner. This is how you build a team. Why do you want to build a team? Because down the road, ladies and gentlemen, down the road, if you're out there gathering customers right now because you need the money, I respect that. I applaud you. I appreciate that. Carry on doing it. But down the road, as you get older and you get more decrepit, and your family needs you more, like your parents or your grandparents, or you get ill, or life gets in the way. You know, you're going to want what we call walk away money. You're going to want what we call beach money. You want to be able to bugger off for 12 months and get paid every month, like I do. I could go to Australia tomorrow and I get the same money put in my bank every single month for 12 months. How cool is that? Because I did the work once and now I'm being paid over and over and over and over and over again on the work I did. My personal residual income is 0.01% of my total income. Give me a show of hands on this call right now if you've got more than 20 customers. Well done, everybody. More than me. Congratulations. Okay, so I've got about 18 right now, and you know that's fine because I don't get customers anymore. But let me tell you how many group customs I've got that I get paid on. 390,000. Let me tell you how many services I get paid on. 1.25 million. But I've only got 18 personal customers, and I've only got probably about 42 services. I've never had the Porsche. I've never qualified for a holiday. And if you ever see me on a holiday, it's because Charles or Andrew has invited me as the #1 distributor. But what I wanted to do from day one, and what I applaud all of you to do, is really look at the business opportunity and what it can give you when you build a team. You want to become inconsequential to your income. Now, to me, it's actually easier to get a partner than it is to get a customer, because with a customer, you've got to worry about ETFs and early termination fees and kilowatt hours and goodness knows what else. Getting a partner, it's easy. You know, all we're looking for is dissatisfaction. You know, and I'm just, you know, Dale, you've got to stop me, because I'll still be talking at 3 o'clock, and I want to make sure I've got ready for the F1 racing at 5. So just keep an eye on how long I go. But my point is this: I just love the idea of helping other people. I've got a lot of friends in this business, as I'm sure Dale has, and you have too. And it's such a pleasure to be able to show them the opportunity to be able to make some money. And you know, what we want to be looking at is how do we talk to people? Let's just come on to the crux of it. I'm going to give you my opening line when I'm talking to strangers. The first thing you want to do is be aware of where you are. Are you in the bakers? Are you in QuickFit? Are you in Sainsbury's? Are you in the library? Are you at the dry cleaners? Are you with other mums and dads at the school gates? Where are you? And then you throw a switch in your head to create a story that relates to where you are. So let's say I'm talking to Angela, and I've just met Angela Lawson over there. We met in the dry cleaners. I don't know her. She's an absolute stranger, but she's in front of me in the dry cleaners, and she's paying her dry cleaning bill. I'd turn around to Angela and say, Angela, I wouldn't know your name, obviously. I would say, excuse the unusual approach. My name's Steve Critchley. I don't know whether that you may or may not be interested in this, but I found a way where I get all my dry cleaning every single month for free. I just thought I'd share it with you because you're local, the same as me. You know, it may or may not be for you, but is there any interest? Well, what's all that about? Well, I'll happily tell you. If you've got time right now, let me buy you a coffee. If not, okay, give us your number. I'll give you a call, and we'll hook up over Zoom. All I'm talking about is the extra money I'm making out of UW to cover my dry cleaning bill. I'm sitting there waiting for a tyre to be repaired at QuickFit. Excuse the unusual approach, Fred. Okay, you know, you're sitting here waiting for your tyres. I'm sitting here waiting for my tyres. I just want to let you know I found a way where I never have to pay full price for my tyres. I don't know if it'd be of interest to you. Okay, you start a conversation. All you're looking for is the commonality of where you are. That's all I've done. You know, I've been around this industry, guys, now for 38 years. I've been 25 years with UW. And in that time, talking to strangers mainly, I've never been shot, I've never been kidnapped, and I've never been stabbed. The worst that's happened, I went door knocking in flip-flops once on a hot summer's day, and some woman didn't like the idea I was knocking on her door, and she shut the door, and it broke my big toenail. That is the worst that's ever happened to me, talking to strangers. The best that's ever happened to me is I built a massive business that I earn far more money than I need right now, which enables my wife, Katie, and I to help a lot of local charities. When we go up an aeroplane, we go up the steps and turn left and not turn right. You know, our business is willable. The kids have all been able to buy houses. We've been able to help them. The kids have all got married, with the exception of one. We've been able to help them. You know, when you get money coming in every month and you need less than half of it to live on, it's fantastic. So I want to encourage every one of you, you know, take off the negative beliefs, take off the view that people won't like you, take away the view that you're going to screw it up. Because guess what? The people you're talking to don't know what you're supposed to say. How do they know you got it wrong? Just carry on. Practice makes perfect. And all I've done on a regular basis over my 25 years with UW, I knew about it in 96, I joined 97, first 4 years were part-time. Then the rest of the years up to 2009 were full-time, flat out. In 2009, unfortunately, I had a massive heart attack. I nearly died. Totally my fault. I smoked 20 fags a day as a minimum from the age of 14 to 49. So I take full responsibility for that. And then from 2009, 2010 onwards, I've been very much an ambassador and a mentor and a coach within UW. This business has massively changed my life. And I'm just so grateful someone showed it to me. And I want you to take on that belief. It may not have massively changed your life yet, but just by sharing it with other people, you could change their life. John Maxwell says, one person can't change the world, but you can change one person's world just by sharing this opportunity with them. So look, I could carry on. I'm not going to carry on. I could crack on. We could talk about objections. We could talk about, what happens when someone says, I want to think about it. Oh, I like this one. It's who gets, I want to think about it. Anyone get, I want to think about it on here? Okay. There's all different ways to deal with it. Let me tell you what I do. Let's say I'm talking to, who am I talking to now? I'll talk to John Scott there. I'm talking to John. I've given him the presentation and he turns around and John says, you know what, Steve, thanks for your time, but I want to think about it. All right? This is what I do. I get all excited. I say, John, that is absolutely brilliant. I am so glad you said I want to think about it, John. Now, you might think this is a really unusual response, but let me tell you why. The fact you want to think about it, John, tells me you've been actually listening to what I've been saying. So many of my customers, it goes in one ear and out the other. They're waiting for me to finish, but you've been listening. So I really want to thank you and appreciate you for doing that. Now, listen to my language here, guys. Now, John, whilst I'm here and for your benefit, what is it you'd like to think about? Now I get to the root of his objections. Okay, so John says, don't like paying by direct debit. And I'm not sure, I only took a contract out with Vodafone 9 months ago. I'm not sure what the ETF is. Okay, so John, what you did say is you don't like paying by direct debit and you're not sure about the ETF. Is that correct, John? Do you agree with that? So John agrees there, all right? And then all I do is I say this, I say, John, providing I can answer those two objections to your complete satisfaction, you'd want to give it a go, wouldn't you? And here's the key, John has to say yes because they're his objections. He can't say no. Otherwise, got a big arrow going Muppet. He has to say yes. And then all I do with my knowledge is I answer the objection, then I abandon it, and then I close it. So what I want you all to do is, if you've got taking notes, write this down in a vertical format. LACP AAC. It should spell LACPAC. LACPAAC. It's a mnemonic, and let me tell you how I remember it. I'm going to replay what I did with John just now. Okay, so John said he wants to think about it. I've got excited and said, I really appreciate the fact you want to think about it because it means you've been listening to me, John. So thank you for that. Now, John, whilst I'm here for your benefit, what is it exactly you'd like to think about? Now, the first L stands for list. So you list everything that John has an objection to. Then you agree it. That's the next A. John, you did say this, and you did say this, and you did say this. Yeah. Anything else, John? So then the C is the confirm. You confirm back. It's the ETF that's your big worry, and also the fact you don't like paying by direct debit. So list, agree, confirm. LAC. Then the P stands for pre-close. John, providing I can answer your objections or your points to your complete satisfaction, you'd want to give it a go, wouldn't you? He has to say yes because they're his objections. So the next A is you answer them with your knowledge. You answer the objections. The next A is you abandon them. You put a this is when you're face to face. You put a line through them because psychologically, you put a line through something, people will go back to it. They won't go back to it. And then the last C is just close. So, John, I've answered all your questions. As agreed, let's get you started. What's your postcode? If you go on YouTube and put in LACPAC, there's a whole presentation up there by John Denny, who I learned it from back in the late 70s, early 80s, to be honest. It's very old. It's been around a long time. But it gives you a system to follow. So for those of you that are green or very structured, you'll love that. For those of you that are a bit more flamboyant and you just like to roll and build rapport, here's another one that Tony Robbins shared with me. So I'll stick with John because John's a good role model. Okay. So John, on a scale of 0 to 10, 0 being you can't wait for me to shut up, bugger off, and you're going to put an ad in the local newspaper to warn people about me. And 10 meaning you want me to shut up again because you just want to sign up and make all the savings. Where are you on a scale of 0 to 10, John? And whatever John says is irrelevance. He can say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or not. It doesn't matter what he says. But you just want him to commit to a number. And then this is the key question after that. Let's say John said a 6. John, what has to happen to make it a 10? And then whatever he tells you, there is objections. So if you prefer that, you're sitting with somebody, you get a bit of paper, 0 at the bottom, 10, show them, look, there's 0, there's 10. 0, you can't wait for me to leave. You're going to put an ad in the local parish magazine and warn everybody about me. 10, you want me to shut up so you can join and start saving money with UW. On a scale of 0 to 10, where are you? Doesn't matter whether he says 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9. You then say, fantastic. What has to happen to make it a 10? Whatever he or she tells you, that's the objection. And then from there, you can go into LACPAC, which I've just gone through with you. So look, I hope that helps. It's just a bunch of stuff here on a Sunday. I'm delighted to be involved. Happy to hang around for another 15, 20 minutes, answer any questions that you've got. I'm going to hand back to Del now, who's obviously going to orchestrate and run that. So over to you, Del. Great.
Oh my God. That was absolutely, I wasn't expecting some of those tips, Steve. That's brilliant. Really, really good stuff. And I'm sure everyone is really pleased they tuned in for that, because especially that is 1 to 10. That's just so simple. Such simple language. You know, Michael Timson and I, we'd have sold a lot more cars if we had that up our sleeve, wouldn't we?
Yeah.
So Laura Boland's had a hand up for Yonks. Laura, do you have a question?
No, sorry, it was just I was putting my hand up because I had my camera off. Sorry.
All right, okay, no bother. So listen, does anyone have questions that for Steve? Anyone got any? Because you know, it's not often we're going to get somebody like Steve on the call.
Yeah, I can answer the questions on anything as long as it's not customer issues.
We're all having issues. I've wrote some stuff down here. Well, I'll go first. Steve, have you seen a marketplace like this before?
Have I seen a marketplace like this?
Yeah, where we've got such a huge opportunity to team build and generate.
Yeah. We had a similar opportunity back in 2008, 2009 with the financial crisis. But what's different about this opportunity that we got right now is the fact that so many people out there are conditioned to understanding what a second income is, what a side hustle is. You know, so many people, it's in the press all the time now about people. 1 in 4 people now, they reckon have a side hustle, have a second job. In fact, new Generation Z, the youngsters that are going for jobs now, they get a job and then in the background, they're doing some IT work for a venture capital fund. And then in the evening, that you know, they're helping out at a wine bar where they've got a 5% shareholding. The youngsters have got much more fingers in a lot more pies than the older people that are used to just having a job. Our opportunity is phenomenal because we've got everybody saved. So here's the key. You might be thinking, my God, you know, I couldn't do what Steve does. He's got so much enthusiasm. No, all I've got is experience. I've just been doing it a long time. You know, but in the past, one of the things that was levied at us was that, look, it's a great opportunity for all the people that can sell. Okay, you've got sales skills, it's all right for you. I've never been in selling, I've just brought up my family. You know, I can't do what you do. With everybody saved now, that advantage, if you've got super sales skills, is gone. This business now is literally for everybody, no matter what your background, no matter how old you are, no matter what your qualifications are. You know, I've got 1 CSE in woodwork. That's it. I've never used it. Okay. I have got a PhD, which stands for Passed High School with Difficulty. And I've got a BSc, by the way, which is a bronze swimming certificate doing 25 metres up the pool. But other than that, I haven't got any certificates whatsoever, any qualifications. All I've done is run with this opportunity because it's the best opportunity out there. Where else? Let me make this point too. And here's an interesting stat. If I gave you £1 million tomorrow and put it in your bank, you get 0.01% interest on it, which is £83 a month gross. So take off 20%. As a basic rate taxpayer, leaves you with 60 quid. You go out there and get a gas electric customer, that's 50 quid. Most of you are skilled enough to be getting double gold. So that's 250, 300 pounds, depending on what services they take. So if I'm with my family circle, I'm with my church or with my friends, and someone turns around to me and says, Steve, are you still doing that utility warehouse, whorehouse, who house thing? And I look them straight in the eye and I go, actually, Derek, I am. I'm still doing it. And guess what? Last month, I earned more than having £1 million in the bank in interest. And look them straight between the eyes and shut up. And all they will remember is the £1 million. They won't remember the word interest. And they'll go, what? What did you say? Straight away, you're in a conversation. So £1 million in the bank, check it after we finish the call, go on Barclays website, look what they'll pay you. Instant access, £1 million, 0.01%, £83 a month gross. What's easier, save up £1 million after tax or go out and get a double gold customer?
Steve, I've got another question here. I see you're sitting in front of a wealth of books.
Yeah.
So for the folk on the call, you know, if somebody was starting to see that team building is the focus, and they wanted to go to a go-to book that you think's easy if you're trying to get involved, it's not too much of a, you know, it's not too in-depth, but it's a great starting point. Would you have a suggestion of a good book for somebody?
Yeah, I mean, look, there's a load of good books out there. I'll give you a raft of books. You know, Eric Worre Go Pro is very good for the basic skills, but it's an American author, so you've got to detach yourself from the big figures they talk about. Okay, a lot of the Americans talk about making 20, 30, 40, 50,000 a month, but what they don't tell you is they're spending 48,000 in expenses to make it. Okay, so Eric Worre Go Pro, highly recommend. If you really want to understand the numbers and the ratios and what it's going to take to really build this business, get hold of a book called Owning Your Life by Paula Pritchard. It's on CD and in book form if you prefer to listen.
I'm just putting the books in the chat so that people...
Yeah, sure, please do. So you've got Go Pros. You got another great book is The Slight Edge by Jeff Olson. And then recently we've had The Consistency Chain. And I want to share two books with you that got nothing to do with network marketing, UW, personal development, but they are books that I would highly, highly, highly recommend you read because they will have a major impact on your life if you absorb the content of the books. The first book is Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl. This is a story about a man surviving the Holocaust and what he had to go through to survive, which included boiling his shoelaces to get some nutrients from the ground. You will never, ever feel hard done by once you've read this book.
Who writes it, sorry?
Viktor Frankl. Brilliant book. My kids are now well grown up with children, but I gave it to my children when they were around the age of 13, 14, and they read it, and it changed their view on life by reading it. Really good book. And then the second book and it's a really weird title, but it's called The 5 Greatest Regrets of the Dying. And it's by a girl called Bronte. I can't remember her second name. But she was a palliative nurse, and she got permission to interview some people that were terminally dying. There was no cure; they were going to die, and she got to interview them. And this is like 15 chapters, 15 people's stories. And what's interesting about these stories is that nobody she interviewed regretted what they'd done. They all regretted what they had the opportunity to do, but never took up. brilliant read, and just a really great, interesting book.
Right, okay, listen, Steve, thank you so much for just everything. You know what, you help us so much as a team.
You're welcome, Dale, and I'm always available to you guys. You know, Dale, you want to put a call together, we want to do some coaching together, just get on, you know, let's do it. Happy to help.
Brilliant. Listen, I can see everyone's been scribbling away, taking notes. I've had a couple of messages on the side saying this is amazing. I'm looking through the chat, Steve. I don't know if you can see it, but there's loads.
Yeah, I'm just having a look now.
Yeah, so yeah. You've really helped us all. Thank you so much for doing this on a Sunday.
Pleasure. And I wish everybody everything they wish themselves. And the only thing that's standing between you and where you want to be is your own self-doubt. So get over yourself, get busy, follow what Dale's saying, and I look forward to being on another call with you very soon, I'm sure. So thank you, Dale, and thank you for everyone for listening.
Listen,